Please, Michael, I just need somewhere to sleep tonight. Just one night. Lydia's voice was so thin, barely more than a whisper as she stood outside the emergency room, the rain soaking clean through her jacket, her teeth chattering as she cradled her newly broken wrist in a cast. Every breath ached, not just from the fall on the subway stairs, but from the cold edge in her eldest son's voice. Mom, we talked about this. Jennifer and I can't keep enabling you. You need to figure this out. You're an adult. Enabling. That word hit harder than any fall. Lydia had worked 3 jobs so Michael could finish medical school, pawned her engagement ring for his wedding, emptied her savings to save his practice, and now, asking for a couch for the night that was enabling. I wouldn't ask if I had anywhere else to go. Look, I'm in surgery in 10 minutes. Call Sarah. Maybe she can help. The line went dead. She stared at the black screen, seeing her own reflection, gaunt and tired. When had she become someone her own children talked to like a stranger? When did the woman who never missed a play or a soccer game, the mother who raised them alone on double shifts, become a burden too heavy to pick up the phone for? Her hand shook as she called Sarah, her daughter. The 4th ring, laughter and music in the background, her daughter at a promotion party. Mom, this isn't good time. David's work friends are here. It's important, can't wait. We're celebrating. More important than her mother sleeping outside. Lydia almost said it, but just pressed the phone closer to her face. She'd spent months sleeping with Sarah after childhood. Nightmares never once called her an inconvenience. I fell. Broke my wrist. The hospital. That's awful. Mom, why didn't you call an ambulance? Look, we'll talk tomorrow. Okay. You got to go. Sarah hung up. Her youngest, James, didn't even answer straight to voicemail. Hey, I'll call back soon. But she knew he wouldn't. How'd it get to this? Lydia pressed the phone to her forehead, standing in the rain. 2 years ago, she'd had a small apartment, a steady job as a night aide at Sunset Manor. It wasn't glamorous bedpans. Lost patience. Lonely old hands needing someone to hold on to, but it was honest. And it paid enough for rent and groceries. Then the nursing home closed overnight embezzlement scandal. Pink slip. No evidence. Just someone call if something opens up. Her landlord sold the building. 30 days notice. No apartment in her price range. Her unemployment ran out. Her children? Michael had just bought a 4-bedroom colonial with Jennifer. But it's complicated with the book club and his journal reviews. Sarah's new place. 2 bedrooms, but the office is David's. And we're trying to start a family. James, traveling constantly for consulting work, but somehow always posting photos from steakhouses and airports. She burned through savings in a weekly motel. When that ran out, she lived in her car. When the car was repossessed, she learned about shelter single nights only. Hours waiting in line. No guarantee of a bed. That was when she truly learned what it meant to be invisible. The same kids who once fought for the seat next to her at dinner now acted like she chose homelessness to spite them. Michael had even said it. You're choosing this. Mom, there are resources. You just don't want to do the work. She'd spent days in lines for social services, filling out endless forms, only to be told she needed IDs, lost in the shuffle. She begged for minimum wage jobs, told she was overqualified or too old or not the right fit. 67 with arthritis and a degree from 1978, the world moved too fast for her kind. Standing outside the hospital in the rain, the cast on her wrist heavy, Lydia realized something inside her had shifted. Not breaking, she felt that already, but a kind of acceptance. Her children weren't coming. Nobody was. She had always believed family would remember her sacrifices. But that woman, a one who worked double shifts and ran beside bikes, who sat by hospital bed, she was gone. In her place stood someone her kids saw as a failure. The social worker had pressed a business card into her hand. Val, shelter opens at 6. But line up by 4 if you want a bed. It was 3:30. If she hurried, maybe she could get a cot for the night. But as she started down the sidewalk, her phone buzzed a text from a number she didn't know. Miss Lydia Hayes. This is Margaret Reynolds from Blackstone and Associates. We need to speak regarding the estate of Victoria Ashford. Please call at your earliest convenience. This matter is extremely time-sensitive and relates to inheritance proceedings pending for over 2 years. Lydia stopped. Mrs. Ashford? The name sent a memory surfacing. Silver hair, sharp blue eyes, a hand that squeezed hers for comfort in the last months at Sunset Manor. The patient whose story she'd listened to when nobody else had time. Mrs. Ashford, who died peacefully in her sleep. Lydia holding her hand, humming a lullaby she used to sing her own kids. What could a law firm want with her? Sitting at a bus stop, Lydia dialed. Blackstone and Associates. Margaret Reynolds speaking. This is Lydia Hayes. You sent a message about Victoria Ashford? A pause. Miss Hayes. Thank God. We've been trying to locate you for 18 months. Your previous address was invalid, and Sunset Manor had no forwarding information. It closed down. I don't have a permanent address right now. Another pause. I see. MS. Hayes. I need you to know this conversation requires complete discretion. Mrs. Ashford left very specific instructions. You are mentioned prominently in her will. I was just her aide. I took care of her. Mrs. Ashford left you the majority of her estate. We're talking about assets totaling approximately $150 million. Lydia's hands nearly dropped the phone. The world blurred the buses. The rain. People passing by. That had to be a mistake. The estate was tied up in court. Margaret continued. Her children in Switzerland contested the will, but the judge ruled in your favor. You are now one of the wealthiest women in Massachusetts. 12 hours earlier, Lydia had been counting quarters for coffee. Now, she owned houses she'd only seen in magazines. I need to see you in person immediately, Margaret said. There are documents, accounts to establish, security. I'll send a car. Where are you? Stunned, Lydia gave her location. 20 minutes later, a black sedan arrived, the driver treating her with courtesy she hadn't felt in years. As they crossed the city, Michael called. Mom, maybe we can work something out short-term. Jennifer mentioned Mrs. Patterson next door might need help with her mother. That's kind of you, Michael, but I'm handling my situation. What do you mean? I have somewhere to stay tonight. A pause. Oh, see, I knew you'd figure it out. Lydia hung up, remembering every time she'd sacrificed for her kids. Sitting in the law office, Margaret explained the details, pouring her real coffee. Mrs. Ashford had left a personal letter. You gave me dignity and kindness when no one else cared. I know this inheritance will change your life. Use it wisely and remember, you earned every penny by being the kind of person who makes the world less lonely. Love, Victoria. Margaret slid over a second letter-sealed instructions about her children. Mrs. Ashford had set aside $5 million, only to be given if Lydia's children showed genuine remorse and changed behavior over the next 90 days. Otherwise, it would go to shelters and nursing homes Lydia had served in. By the time Lydia left, her phone buzzed James, then Sarah, then Michael. Suddenly, everyone wanted Sunday dinner, to reconnect, to help. Lydia saw the truth in their timing. The urgency once they thought she had options. She decided not to mention the money yet, to watch and wait. She slept that night in the Four Seasons penthouse Margaret arranged luxury, so unfamiliar it felt almost absurd. In the morning, she bought a simple navy dress for dinner with James, watching the sales clerk size her up as a poor woman shopping for necessity. Romano's was just the sort of place James loved him. Expensive, perfect for good son performances. Over wine, James offered her a live-in job with a wealthy familiar position as an elder care aide for $40,000 a year, as if she hadn't just become richer than he could imagine. She smiled and told him she was exploring other options. When he tried to warn her against scams, she handed him Margaret's business card. "I have business there tomorrow." He stared, confused. "What business?" "The kind that means I won't need the Henderson job after all." The next day, she called her children to Michael's house and told them the truth. "Mrs. Ashford left me everything. $150 million. The air in the room changed. Suddenly, her children were experts on financial planning, concerned about her security, eager to help. She watched the performance, remembering Mrs. Ashford's warning. People reveal their true nature when there's something at stake. She told them she planned to donate most of the inheritance $100 million to charity, keeping only what she needed, and that the $5 million for them depended on their genuine change. Not their words. "You taught me the difference between people who love you when it costs them something and people who love you when it benefits them." As she walked out, her phone flooded with desperate messages. "Let's talk about this. Don't let money destroy our family. Think about your grandchildren," each one proof of the lesson she'd learned. For the first time in years, Lydia felt powerful not because of the money, but because she finally saw clearly. Sometimes, the greatest gift is the freedom to choose who you invite back into your life.